Let's talk about mindfulness and thriving in today's stressful world. I am the perfect advocate. I am the perfect spokesperson for Lexapro or an anti-anxiety. I'll be the first to admit I make light of it because I understand it. I understand anxious moments and just the pressure and stress and the immediate need for, and it is overwhelming. The days of old, you didn't have instant gratification. My friend Brent told me, and he had a great analogy. He said, we get what we want instantaneously. At the drop of a hat or near drop of a hat, within a day, things materialize on our front porches. And so we expect similar outcomes with people, and we don't have any control over that. There's no button to press to maneuver and get people to do, be, act, say what we want and need them to do to fit into our square box. I bring that up because thriving in today's stressful world amidst technology, immediacy, a lot of that stress is because of people, right? And then you have the process, and then the product, the experience, the service, the thing you offer that you show up to work to be part of completing itself. I wake up in the morning, and my biggest stressor for me that prevents me from thriving would be my inability to create a schedule, a calendar, an organized thing. Now, this is how you thrive. Simply put, as a musician, an entrepreneur, and in the funeral profession, I'm wearing hat after hat after hat. And the pivot is not something that I'm good at. And then I think about my mentor, Jack, and he said this: why put someone in the choir who doesn't like to / can't sing? As someone who can sing, you put a microphone in my hand, 98% of the crowd are going to appreciate it. If you can't and or don't want to, there's an adverse effect. Point being, I suck at scheduling. So to thrive, find your lane. Find your lane. If you are not good at, don't do. Now, if you're in the beginning stages of building a career or building something from nothing and you don't have the resources, totally get it. You're going to have to swim and flail around in the water. But then there's this moment where the pendulum swings and it's a level up. That's whenever you pull the trigger. For me, I have Sandy, Manuel. There's this schedule. I know what I have to complete each day. I love tasks. Give me the tasks, I'll knock it out of the park every time. It's putting those pieces together. So step one to thriving, find your lane. Find what you love, be nerdy about it. You can't be great at everything. And that also, the other side is kind of letting go of, giving up control. I'll never forget when I was a senior in high school, I was a kicker for the football team. Greg Blanford was the punter. He was the punter. He had the better foot. He was way better fit for the job. I told Coach Lawson that. Greg thrived. He was great. And at times he had more accuracy with field goals. I knew where my lane was before I knew that the lane was a thing. To thrive, find your lane, know what you're great at, and then put in the 10,000 hours. That's the next thing. You have to have 10,000 hours. There's this real truth that being mindful of, you got to put in the work. It does not happen at the shake of a lamb's tail. It's 23 years in the making. And it seems overnight to a lot of people because it's the perception, but it does not to me. It comes at a cost, and you have to weigh that cost. being mindful of technology, embracing technology, is how you are going to de-stress. There is every tool available now with AI. And if you are not learning it, if you are not spending 2 hours a week on it, a few hours a week to learn, to just dive in, just to the transcriptions or auto editing, you are missing. You're missing the mark. Let's say you can't write copyright very well, meaning you can't spell well. It's okay. People rely on that red squiggly line under a word on your iPhone to make sure that they're spelling something correctly. And even then, it sometimes fails. There is ChatGPT. There are prompts that you can learn to get better results within ChatGPT. So educating yourself and streamlining this with technology is going to de-stress your life in unimaginable ways. Limit your distractions. Sounds weird. It's very important to not always be on your phone and to be engaged. And I'm talking to myself because there's so much out here to learn. There's so much. And I've learned some incredible things from some incredible people. And I take that and I apply it. Listen. Not always having an opinion is absolutely a way to be mindful of, to eliminate stress and churn from your life. And I want to say this: mental health awareness, therapy, talking through things. I talk about this backpack. I carry a backpack. It's a metaphor. I do carry a backpack. You have the day that you work, interact with, engage with, do your works. You're going to encounter some shit. And then you put it in your backpack. And then you realize at the end of a day or a week or a month, you're bent over and you can barely walk. You got to unpack it. But you don't want to be the complainer. You don't want to be that. I encourage you to not be. Don't let complaints exit your mouth, Nathan. Therapy is critical. Whether you go in person to a local provider, there are resources such as BetterHelp. It's a website where virtual therapists are available to assist. Mental health awareness is absolutely paramount and critical. Mental health, you got to take your pulse. You got to check. Sometimes you're not great. When you're not in a good space here, then it affects your gut. Then you're not effective at work or doing whatever you do. I don't put work first. I say work just because in regards to the stressful aspect of life and we go to work. Work isn't life. Life isn't work. I think finding what you love and being nerdy about that is key. Because then, with being mindful of your mental health and your journey there and all the things I've previously said, there's happiness. And happiness is a choice. Putting all these key pieces together kind of make a really nice pumpkin pie. I get it. It's a lot of constantly shifting and maneuvering and, figuring it out. To thrive, you got to find your lane. You got to know where you're great. You got to know where you're not great and acknowledge that. And then when you're to a point where you can get help, get the people in the positions and places to be effective, right? I mean, it's like we're not getting ready to get ready all the time anymore. I love the template. I really do. I hope that all of these suggestions, something sparks, right? I call it the nugget. Like, did you get a little nugget? I hope you did. And that's how you're going to thrive. It sounds simple in theory, but Good luck with that. Let me know in the comments how you're doing. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell so you can stay up to date on content. I release a podcast every single week called You'll Die Trying. It's in the podcast section, and my music is streaming everywhere. You can see official music videos right here.